One of the, please, those outside, make sure you participate. One of the killers of grace, one of the killers of impact, one of the killers of a life of color and beauty is pride, vainglory. I have seen in my little life, I've seen people rise to the top and crash back. Hallelujah. One of the worst comments that can be made about a man is, I remember the days when this person used to be mighty. There are pastors with those kinds of testimonies. I remember when the hand of God used to be upon my life. I remember when ministry used to expand. I taught a message, I think 2 or 3 years ago, called The Secret of Sustained Glory. Please, you can get it after the service and listen to it. There is nothing as ugly as tasting increase, greatness, honor, and crashing down and becoming a monument of warning to others. And they say, beware of so person. Pride. Let me tell you something. It's my personal opinion. Now, sin is sin. But if I were to arrange sin, I consider pride to be worse than fornication. Hallelujah. Pride. That mystery that has destroyed people. You see, let me tell you something. When God begins to lift you, Satan is not a fool. He will study your vulnerability. You are not given to women. Satan will not carry a lady and come and destroy you. He knows that you have built capacity to resist it. He will not use money, but he knows that enshrined in every man is the desire to receive the accolades of men, and this is where the mighty fall. What a woman may not be able to do in the life of a man, or a man as it is. What money may not be able to do. What persecution will not be able to do. You will stab yourself with pride. Vain glory. That affinity for the applause of men. And let me tell you something. God is speaking to us to warn us. I have seen people. I have watched people. I have watched them nurture the seed of pride. I have watched them nurture it carefully to grow. The first time that pride is at work in your life is that submission becomes an embarrassment. To anybody, to anything, submission becomes an embarrassment. It's a sign that you're already dying from pride. Not just submission to a man of God, submission to principles. Oh, everyone lift up your hands, and you just stand and you're watching. Lift up your hands for what now? The seed of pride. Submission. Thank you. Very important. Galatians 5:26. We'll just look at 2 scriptures. I really want to challenge us on this because I have seen this thing kill people. Men, women, I've seen. And you know, the interesting thing about God is He gives you a measure of what He really intends giving you and watches your reaction. And many of us shock God and shock ourselves with pride and arrogance. Let us not be desirous of vain glory. Vain glory. Vain glory. And a sign that the desire of vain glory is at work in you is that you begin to provoke people. You begin to envy. Vain glory. You see, there are 2 dimensions to pride I want us to pray against today. The first dimension is, we were discussing, I think, with Ejimi earlier on this morning, and he was just asking me a few questions, and we're really discussing, very interesting discussion. There are 2 dimensions to pride. The first is the one you organize for yourself. So I can sit down right now, Apostle Joshua Selman, the great man of God, and I find some of the leaders and some of the people, Pastor Alpha, Pastor Femi, all the people, and I say, look, create a scenario that drums my impact before everybody. So it's arranged on purpose. Are we together now? That's the first dimension of pride. So whether it is by creating certain names or creating certain things, you create a system. And that's not honor. Because I seek to use people to establish my relevance as against their own relevance. Now, the second dimension of pride is where many of us are victims of and we don't know. You may not create the seed, but it is a desire you nurse in your heart. And the day someone else creates it, you will jump at it. Hallelujah. You will jump at it. You may never ask anybody to open. Look, listen to me and learn and grow and walk in power. Someone may look at you and say, you may never tell anybody to call you great man of God, but it's a desire in your heart. And the day somebody says, do you know you are such an awesome man? You say, what did you say? Can you repeat it again? He only stimulated something that has been there, waiting for occasion to find expression. Many of us think because we are not the ones arranging the scenario, it means we are free from pride. Sometimes humility it takes effort. You must reject certain, you must peg honor and say, no, this has come too far. It must remain here by yourself. I watch men of God on TV. Sadly, I don't criticize men of God, but I have watched people and I see like you pour cold water on a thirsty soul. That's how they drink pride. They drink it as members. You see, honor has a boundary. Once you cross that boundary, it no longer becomes honor. The character of pride is that you find fault in the glory of others. So the character of pride is everybody must be down for you to be satisfied. If we are all lifted, you are not satisfied. Because the goal of pride is to attempt to show the excellency of your stature as against somebody. So pride does not is not satisfied when you are lifted. It checks if others are down. When they are down, then you are satisfied. Are you getting that now? So if we say, oh, thank you, Pastor Alpha, thank you, Ebenezer, thank you, Ejimi, Ebenezer gets angry and say, no. If you had said, thank you, Pastor Alpha, but I'm disappointed in you. Ejimi, you didn't do well, but you are exceptional. He says, now you have honored me. Because you have honored me by contrasting others. That's the spirit of pride. So it wants to stand alone. There are men of God who have created all kinds of theologies in their ministry to downplay any. Once they see an offshoot of true grace, they strangle it with teachings. They threaten people with curses because there is insecurity locked up in them. Hallelujah. Are we together now? Vainglory. A lust for the praise of men. It's amazing how we look for it. We beg for it. We organize programs for it. We organize sons and daughters for it. You see men of God running around. Can you make my birthday? Make noise with it. Sew t-shirt, sew Ankara and put everything. Just make sure everybody around knows. And we laugh. It's a dangerous thing. I always say this. Bless people and give them the option of appreciating you by themselves. They will surprise you. They will surprise you. I run away from pride. Ego, like a cancer. There are men of God who do not see eyeball to eyeball because somebody was called Mr. by mistake. I remember, I think my people will bear me witness. We were in, I think it was Enugu, towards the end of last year. And I went to minister in a crusade there. And it was a great meeting. People came around. And there was a gentleman. I think he's a pastor's son. So they introduced him mistakenly. They said, brother, so and so. I saw the way the guy moved, with anger. And insult to my grace. You don't know who I am. And he climbed up the stage, and the first thing he said was, look, my name is Pastor so, not brother so.